Yeah, so I wanted to make an update on the Homebrew Heater Project because, as it turns out, I actually ended up using it as my office heater for, I guess, about a year, at least one winter. Um, and then it sat all summer, unused, and it wasn't perfect, but it worked really well. There was one problem, which I should have known, and I have my DHT22 sensor, and I just have it sitting here right now. It's usually living under my desk, but I pulled it out because I'm actually 3D printing a covering for this thing today that I finally got around to doing. But yeah, I just kind of ran with it open like that for a while. And then that one relay is not connected, so I tried to cover up anywhere where there's exposed mains current, so that I'm not totally risking death when I put my feet on it. But yeah, so it worked really well for like an entire year. One of the problems is that sometimes the DHT sensor would freeze and lock up, and I think the reason is because I was using a really long piece of Ethernet cable to connect that to the ESP32. And, I could use like a Zigbee sensor or something to be the main temperature measurement sensor, but I figure it's better if it just has its own. So I shortened up that cable quite a bit. I spliced it there. So now it's a lot shorter, so hopefully that kind of keeps it from freezing up. And then also, so I was powering the whole thing by USB. Well, obviously, because that's how ESP32s are powered. But I pulled it out, and I realized that I couldn't remember the web address for the ESP32, and then I also realized that I couldn't even find the source code anymore. Anyway, and so rather than looking for it, I figured, well, hey, you know what? With AI now, it's just so easy to write source code, and I have a subscription to Windsurf for other projects, so I ended up just rewriting the whole thing, and now instead of it being, wired updates, it's now over-the-air updates, and I also put the full source code in the memory of the ESP32. So in another year, when I decide that I want to add more functionality or whatever, I'm not going to be like, dude, where's the source code? It's like it's on the device. So that's going to save me from that hassle. So I spliced in this this situation right here, which, hey, do what you got to do. So anyway, now it can be plugged in with one plug rather than needing to plug this in and then plug that in somewhere else. So, now it's one self-contained unit, and we're 3D printing just basically like a half cylinder that'll go over this whole mess. It's still going to have some exposed wiring over here, but hey, it worked. It worked great. Now it talks to Home Assistant, and so I can do whatever the heck I want with it with Home Assistant. And I also added these little feet, which I thought was pretty smart, because what they are is it's just screws and washers blown into the bottom, and so now it doesn't have to sit on top of a piece of metal anymore. It's actually not touching the carpet, so that'll probably stop it from melting or catching anything on fire, I think. And yeah, so it's this is a pretty good little heater, honestly. Like it is just a resistive heater, but like, despite appearances, this is a fully functional smart heater with, over-the-air open source firmware update capability, and temperature monitoring, reporting, and logging when all things considered with Home Assistant. So, did it take a lot of time? Yeah, kind of, but it didn't really cost much money. It cost me $20 in relays and some scrap parts I had laying around. And I mean, I guess $4.77 for one of those. You can get a 3-pack for $15 on Amazon. So, yeah, I mean, pretty cool. But anyway, I just wanted to give an update on it. And, you know, it's just, I guess it's just incredible how, I mean, like, the firmware running on the ESP32 now, it's like 1,000 lines of code. It's 1,000 lines of code, which is probably too many. I mean, probably half of it's comments, but, you know, it's like the AI tools, man. Like, I didn't put in, I think the only thing I actually typed into the actual code base was the Wi-Fi password, because it was just easier to put it in instead of tell the AI. And literally the AI just did everything else. And I think Claude 4.5 did all the coding, but, you know, it did have some troubleshooting little dumb loops where, like, you know, I have coded into this thing, this like cooldown period, which I think is going to help preserve the elements longer, and it's going to stop it from getting so hot. Basically what it is when the elements shut off, it continues to run the fan for a minute. And I figure that'll kind of help it not heat soak as much, keep air moving over it. And so, yeah, it had a real hard time figuring out how to do that, because it was like, you know, declaring things in loops that it shouldn't have been, and like it was setting the value of the cooldown period to like 7 billion seconds, and just doing all this like kooky stuff that a human would never do. But hey, I mean, like, you know, it's overall much better, obviously, than doing it yourself. I mean, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't really know how to do it at all, who just has kind of an intuitive sense of what to do, but that's it. So, yeah, anyway, I mean, hey, look, here it is. I mean, it's ugly, and it's awesome. And it just needs its little cover, and then I can put my feet on it and just burn myself instead of burn and possibly shock myself. So, yeah, anyway. That's all there is to it.